In the heart of the darkened court, under the watchful eyes of the moon, a powerful Alpha King sits upon his throne. His reign is unquestioned, his will absolute. A sound so soft, so delicate, it seems to dance on the very edge of perception. A voice, a melody, pure and haunting, it drifts through the corridors like a ghost, weaving its way through the darkness until it reaches the throne room. The Alpha King's hand stills. His entire body goes rigid. His nostrils flare as he draws in a deep breath, and his eyes, those fierce, golden eyes that have seen countless battles, countless victories, narrow with something that resembles both fury and fascination. Please subscribe to my channel, tell me where you're from, and comment your thoughts below as we journey through this steamy and suspenseful werewolf romance story. A voice. A delicate, trembling voice, echoing through the hallways of the palace. The Omega, the one he's forbidden himself to touch, is singing. The melody is simple, almost childlike in its innocence. Yet there is something achingly beautiful about it, something that pierces through the walls he has built around his heart over the decades. The notes rise and fall like waves upon a shore, gentle yet persistent, sweet yet somehow mournful. It is a song of longing, of dreams whispered in the darkness, of hopes that dare not speak their names in the harsh light of day. And it calls to him. Gods, how it calls to him. The Alpha King's jaw clenches. His hands grip the armrests of his throne with such force that the Ancient would groans in protest. He knows that voice. He has heard it before, in passing, in moments when he allowed himself to walk the corridors of his palace unannounced. He has seen her, the young Omega who cleans the lower halls, who tends to the forgotten corners of his vast domain. She is nothing, a servant, barely more than a shadow that flits through his kingdom, unnoticed by most, unworthy of attention by those of higher rank. And yet, her voice has haunted him for weeks now, months perhaps. Time has become a blur of resistance, of denial, of fighting against the primal urge that claws at his insides every time he catches even the faintest hint of her scent. She is forbidden to him, not by law, not by decree, but by his own stubborn will. An Alpha King does not bend to desire. An Alpha King does not succumb to weakness. And wanting her, truly wanting her, would be the greatest weakness of all. Cut now to the source of that voice. In the lower halls of the palace, far from the grandeur of the throne room, a young Omega moves with quiet grace. Her hands work steadily, a cloth in her grasp as she wipes down the stone walls, her movements methodical, practiced. She has done this work 1,000 times before. It is all she has ever known. Born into servitude, raised to be invisible, she has learned to make herself small, to blend into the background, to never draw attention. But when she sings, she forgets herself. The melody flows from her lips without conscious thought, a habit born of solitude and long, lonely hours. She does not sing for an audience. She does not even sing for herself, really. The music simply exists within her, and when the silence grows too heavy, it spills out like water from an overfilled cup. She has no idea that anyone is listening. She has no idea that her voice carries through the palace like a beacon, cutting through stone and distance alike. She has no idea that the most powerful wolf in the kingdom, the Alpha King himself, sits frozen upon his throne, transfixed by the sound of her. Her face is soft, unmarked by the hardness that comes with power or privilege. There is an innocence to her features, a gentle quality that speaks of kindness and quiet strength. Her eyes, when they occasionally lift from her work, hold a distant dreaminess, as if she exists partially in another world, a world where she is not bound by the station of her birth. Her hair falls in loose waves around her shoulders, catching the dim light of the corridor torches. She is beautiful, though she does not know it. She is captivating, though she would never believe it. And she is utterly, completely unaware of the eyes upon her. Back in the throne room, the Alpha King rises to his feet with a sudden violence that sends his chair scraping backward across the marble floor. The sound echoes like thunder through the cavernous space. His chest heaves with barely controlled breaths. His hands flex at his sides, fingers curling into fists and then releasing, again and again, as if he's trying to physically grasp control of himself. He feels it deep within him. A pull. An overwhelming urge he's tried to suppress for far too long. It started as a whisper, a nagging awareness that crept into his thoughts at unexpected moments. Then it grew into a constant presence, a shadow that followed him through his days and nights. And now it has become a roar, a demand that will not be silenced, a force of nature that threatens to consume him entirely. His wolf, the primal, instinctual part of him that exists beneath the veneer of civilization and control, strains against its bonds. It wants her. It has wanted her from the first moment he caught her scent, that sweet, intoxicating mixture of vanilla and wildflowers that seems to cling to her skin. His wolf recognizes something in her, something that speaks to the very core of his being. Mate, it whispers.
Mine. Ours.
But he is not just his wolf. He is the Alpha King. He is reason and restraint. He is duty and responsibility. He cannot simply take what he wants, consequences be damned. Or can he? The question burns in his mind as he paces back and forth across the throne room, his footsteps heavy and deliberate. His internal struggle is visible in every tense line of his body, in the way his muscles coil and release, in the harsh set of his jaw. What is she to him? An omega, a servant. Someone so far beneath his station that even acknowledging her existence should be beneath him. The court would talk. They would question his judgment, his fitness to rule. An Alpha King who allows himself to be distracted by a lowly omega? Unthinkable, unacceptable, dangerous. And yet the song continues. Her voice rises and falls, oblivious to the chaos it creates within him. It wraps around him like silk, like chains, binding him to a desire he can no longer deny. His breath quickens. His heart pounds in his chest with a force that threatens to crack his ribs. Every instinct he possesses screams at him to go to her, to claim her, to make her his in the most primal way possible. His hands tremble, an occurrence so rare, so foreign, that it shocks him into stillness. When was the last time he trembled? When was the last time anything affected him so profoundly that his body betrayed his iron control? He cannot remember. Perhaps never. And that realization only intensifies the maelstrom within him. The command builds in his throat, pressing against his teeth, demanding to be spoken. He fights it for one moment more.
2.
3. But the battle is already lost. It was lost the moment her voice reached his ears. Perhaps it was lost weeks ago, months ago, the first time he saw her. The inevitability of this moment crashes over him like a wave, and with it comes a strange sense of relief. He is done fighting. He is done pretending. He is done denying what every fiber of his being knows to be true. His voice, when it finally breaks the silence, is harsh and commanding, a growl that seems to shake the very foundations of the palace. I want her now. The words hang in the air, heavy with finality. There is no question in them, no room for debate or negotiation. It is a command, pure and simple, issued by the absolute authority of the kingdom. And like all of his commands, it will be obeyed. The sound of his voice reverberates through the room like a thunderclap, rolling through the corridors, seeking its target. And in the lower halls, the young Omega suddenly stops singing. The melody dies on her lips as a chill runs down her spine. She looks up from her work, her cloth falling forgotten from her hands. Something has changed. The air feels different, charged with an energy that makes the hair on the back of her neck stand on end. She senses him. For the first time in all the months she has worked within these walls, she truly senses the Alpha King's attention upon her. It is not a gentle awareness. It is not a casual interest. It is a force that seems to pin her in place, that makes her heart race and her breath catch in her throat. Fear and something else, something she dare not name, flood through her veins. She has no idea that the powerful Alpha King, the ruler of their world, has just set his sights on her. An Omega, born to serve, bred to obey, taught from childhood that she is nothing, that she is less than nothing. And yet, in the darkness of the night, something is stirring between them. Is it lust? Is it fate? Is it the cruel hand of destiny reaching down to toy with two souls who should never have crossed paths? Her hands begin to tremble. She presses them against her chest, trying to calm the wild beating of her heart. Memories flood her mind, warnings whispered by older Omegas, cautionary tales of what happens when those of low station catch the eye of the powerful. Nothing good comes of it, they said. Nothing but pain and loss and heartbreak. Stay invisible, they urged. Be small. Be nothing. She has tried. Gods, how she has tried. But you cannot hide from fate. You cannot make yourself invisible to eyes that have already seen you, to a soul that has already recognized something in yours. Her past has shaped her, has carved deep grooves of fear and uncertainty into her heart. She knows what it means to be powerless, to be at the mercy of those who hold all the cards. Her childhood was marked by loss, by the constant awareness that she was disposable, replaceable, unimportant. She learned early to guard her heart, to expect nothing, to hope for even less. Survival meant accepting her place, never reaching for more, never daring to dream of a different life. And now this. Now him. The Alpha King himself, turning his attention to her like the sun suddenly focusing its full heat upon a single blade of grass. She should feel honored, perhaps. Terrified, certainly. But what she actually feels is far more complicated, a tangled mess of emotions that she cannot begin to untangle. There is fear, yes. Deep, primal fear of what he could do to her, what he could take from her, how he could destroy what little she has managed to build for herself in this harsh world. But there is also something else, something that has been growing in the secret chambers of her heart for longer than she wants to admit. A curiosity, a fascination, a pull that mirrors his own, though she does not yet understand its source or meaning. She has seen him in those rare moments when he walks the halls. She has caught glimpses of him from the shadows, has watched the way he moves with such confidence and power, as if the very ground beneath his feet exists solely to support his stride. She has noticed the set of his shoulders, the sharp intelligence in his eyes, the way his presence seems to command respect without him having to speak a word. And yes, she has felt something stir within her, something she immediately tried to bury, to ignore, to pretend did not exist. An Omega does not desire an Alpha King. That way lies only madness and ruin. But desire does not care for logic. It does not respect the boundaries of station or status. It blooms where it will, wild and uncontrollable, and no amount of denial can kill what has already taken root. Her thoughts race, spinning in frantic circles.
Why now?
Why is he looking at her this way? What could he possibly want from someone like her? Is she ready for what he's about to do to her, to them? The questions have no answers, or perhaps too many answers, each one more frightening than the last. For both of them, this moment is more than desire. It's a collision of fate, power, and fear. Neither of them can escape what is coming. The wheels have been set in motion, and there is no force in this world strong enough to stop them now. The Alpha King stands in his throne room, his chest still heaving with the force of emotions he can barely contain. He has spoken his command, and now he must wait for it to be carried out. But waiting has never been his strength. Patience has never been his virtue. He is a creature of action, of immediate gratification, of bending the world to his will through sheer force of dominance. And yet, in this moment, he is reduced to waiting, to wondering, to questioning, for perhaps the first time in his long life, whether what he wants is truly what he should have. There are secrets between them, though neither yet knows it. Dark truths that lurk beneath the surface of their connection, waiting to be revealed. The Omega carries a past that even she does not fully understand, a lineage that has been hidden from her, a power that lies dormant within her blood. And the Alpha King himself is not as he appears, not entirely. His throne was won through blood and fire, and the cost of his crown was higher than anyone knows. Will they both survive what fate has destined for them? Or will they fall victim to their own desires, to the forces that seek to tear them apart before they have even truly come together? The palace holds its breath. The moon watches from above, silent and knowing. And somewhere in the distance, the Omega begins to walk, her feet carrying her forward even as her mind screams at her to run, to hide, to do anything but answer the summons that she knows is coming. But there's something more at play. Something beyond simple attraction, or even the mysterious pull of a destined mate bond. There are forces moving in the shadows, ancient powers that have waited generations for this moment. The Omega is not just an Omega, though she believes herself to be nothing more. Deep within her bloodline runs a magic that was thought to be lost, a power that could either save the kingdom or destroy it utterly. And the Alpha King, for all his strength and dominance, carries a curse. A darkness that was placed upon his line generations ago, a price that must be paid, a debt that comes due. He has fought against it for decades, has used every ounce of his considerable willpower to keep it at bay. But he can feel it growing stronger, can sense the darkness creeping closer with each passing year. He needs her, though he does not yet understand why. His wolf knows. The ancient part of him that remembers what his conscious mind has forgotten knows that she is the key, the answer, the only thing that can break what was put in place so long ago. Secrets lurk beneath their connection, woven through with threads of prophecy and ancient magic. There are those in the court who know pieces of the truth, who have been waiting and watching, who will do anything to prevent what must happen or to ensure it, depending on their allegiances. The game being played is far larger than either the Alpha King or the Omega understands, and they are merely pieces on a board, though they fancy themselves players. The vision flashes, wolves howling under the full moon, their cries carrying across the darkness. The Omega, her hands trembling as she holds an old, faded letter, its contents written in a language she cannot read but somehow understands in her soul. The Alpha King, his hands stained with blood that will not wash clean, a reminder of the price of power and the cost of duty. These images are not just symbols. They are memories from a future that has not yet happened, or perhaps from a past that has been forgotten. Time moves strangely in the world of magic and wolves, and the boundaries between what was, what is, and what will be are not as fixed as mortals like to believe. The Alpha King speaks once more, his voice dropping to a low growl that seems to vibrate through the very stones of the palace. Come to me. It is not a request. It is not an invitation. It is a command that carries the full weight of his authority, backed by the power that flows through his veins and the dominance that is his birthright. When an Alpha King speaks such a command, the universe itself bends to make it so. In the lower halls, the Omega feels the words like a physical pull. Her body responds before her mind can catch up, her feet beginning to move without her conscious permission. She tries to resist, tries to plant herself in place, but it is useless. The command is too strong, too absolute. Or perhaps some part of her does not want to resist. Perhaps some deep, hidden part of her has been waiting for this moment, dreading it and longing for it in equal measure. She walks through the corridors, each step taking her closer to him, closer to a fate she cannot see, but can feel approaching like a storm on the horizon. Other servants press themselves against the walls as she passes, sensing something momentous happening, though they do not understand what. They watch her with wide eyes, some with pity, some with envy, some with fear for what awaits her. The choice is no longer hers. The moment is upon them both. Will she embrace her fate? Or will she run from the power and passion that binds them both? But even as the question forms, the answer becomes clear. There is no running from this. There is no escape from destiny, no matter how much you might wish otherwise. The path has been laid out, and all that remains is to walk it and see where it leads. Her heart pounds as she climbs the stairs toward the upper levels of the palace, toward the throne room where she knows he waits. She has never been in those halls before. They are forbidden to one such as her, reserved for the nobility, the powerful, the important. But tonight, those rules do not apply. Tonight, she has been summoned, and when the Alpha King summons, all barriers fall away. The throne room doors loom before her, massive and imposing, made of dark wood bound with iron. They are closed, But she knows that when she reaches them, they will open. They must open. Everything has been leading to this moment, every choice, every action, every breath she has taken since the day she was born. Inside the throne room, the Alpha King stands at the base of his throne, waiting. His eyes are fixed on the doors, his entire being focused with an intensity that would make a lesser wolf collapse under its weight. He can sense her approaching. He can feel the beat of her heart, as if it were his own, can smell her scent growing stronger with each step she takes. His hands flex again at his sides.
His jaw is set in a hard line.
But beneath the stern exterior, beneath the mask of absolute control, there is something else. Something that might, in another man, be called vulnerability. Because in this moment, for perhaps the first time in his long life, the Alpha King is not entirely certain of the outcome. He does not know how this will end. He cannot see the path that lies ahead with his usual clarity and certainty. And that uncertainty is as thrilling as it is terrifying. The Omega reaches the doors. She raises a trembling hand, but before she can touch the wood, they swing open on their own, as if the palace itself is eager to see what will happen next. The throne room is revealed before her, vast and shadowed, lit only by moonlight and the flickering of scattered torches. And there, in the center of it all, stands the Alpha King. Their eyes meet across the distance. The air between them seems to crackle with energy, with potential, with the weight of everything that is about to happen. For a long moment, neither moves. Neither speaks. They simply stand, locked in a gaze that feels like it could span eternity. And then, slowly, inexorably, as if drawn by invisible strings, the Omega takes a step forward.
And another.
And another. Each movement brings her closer to him, closer to the precipice of a cliff she cannot see but knows is there, waiting for her to either leap or fall. The Alpha King watches her approach, his expression unreadable, his body taut as a drawn bow. Inside, his wolf howls in triumph and anticipation. Inside, the man wars with instinct and duty and desire. But outside, he remains still, a statue carved from stone and shadow, waiting for her to come to him. Because he has commanded it. Because fate has demanded it. Because, despite everything, all the reasons they should not be together, all the obstacles that stand in their way, all the dangers that lurk in the darkness, this is meant to be. She stops a few feet from him, close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body, close enough to see the way his chest rises and falls with each controlled breath, close enough to be utterly, completely within his reach. Their hands hang at their sides, inches apart. If either were to move even slightly, their fingers would brush. Such a small gesture. Such an inconsequential touch. And yet it would mean everything. It would be the acknowledgement that this is real, that this is happening, that there is no going back from this moment. The tension builds to an almost unbearable degree. The air itself seems to hold its breath, waiting for what comes next. Will he reach for her? Will she pull away? Will they bridge the final distance between them? Or will fear and doubt win out, sending them back to their separate corners to nurse wounds that have not yet been inflicted? The possibilities hang in the balance, infinite and terrifying in their potential. Every future, every outcome, every path that could be taken exists simultaneously in this single, crystallized moment. One choice will determine everything. One movement will set in motion events that cannot be undone. And somewhere in the depths of the palace, in rooms long forgotten, in shadows that have grown thick with time and secrets, ancient powers watch and wait. They have been patient for so long. A little longer will not matter. But they are eager now, sensing that the pieces are finally falling into place, that the game they have been playing across generations is finally reaching its critical juncture. The Alpha King's hand twitches. The Omega's breath catches. The world seems to tilt on its axis, reality bending around this moment like light around a black hole. Everything that came before has led to this. Everything that comes after will flow from it. Will they both survive what fate has destined for them? Or will they fall victim to their own desires, to the machinations of those who seek to use them, to the dark truths that have yet to be revealed? Only time will tell. Only the unfolding of events, moment by moment, choice by choice, will reveal whether this meeting is a blessing or a curse, salvation or damnation, the beginning of something beautiful or the end of everything they have ever known. But one thing is certain. There is no turning back. The die has been cast. The wheels of fate are in motion. And the Alpha King and his unexpected Omega are about to discover that the bond between them runs deeper than desire, stronger than duty, and far more dangerous than either of them could have possibly imagined. The moon watches from above, ancient and knowing, having seen this story play out 1,000 times before in 1,000 different forms. And yet, each time is unique. Each time brings its own joys and sorrows, its own triumphs and tragedies. This time will be no different. This time will be the most important of all. The moment stretches, impossibly long and infinitely short, existing in a space between heartbeats where anything is possible and everything hangs in the balance. And then, finally, inevitably, one of them moves, reaching across that final distance, and the story truly begins. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Where are you watching from? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this forbidden romance. Don't miss the next chapter in this steamy, suspense-filled journey.